Hello everyone, our topic is about chocolate. First, we will give you a brief introduction about chocolate. Then, we will discuss how chocolate is made. The third part is about the environmental impact in the plantation phase. Then, we will discuss the social impact of chocolate and then describe the child labor practices during the harvesting phase. The last part will be conclusion. Let us learn what is chocolate. The main ingredient for chocolate is cacao. Over 5,300 years ago, cacao in South America serves as beverage, food, medicine, and stimulant. The Spanish conquistadors were the ones who introduced chocolate to Europe. During the Industrial Revolution, the production of chocolate became faster, hence became popular all over the world.
Chocolate is a product of processed cocoa that grows in tropical regions such as Ecuador, Ghana, and Indonesia. To make chocolate, companies use a multi-step process that involves one of the four types of cocoa beans: Forastero, Criolla, Nacional, and Trinitario. Forastero makes up 95% of the world's cocoa production. The multi-step process consists of fermentation, drying, roasting, nib grinding, refining, conching, and tempering. Over the 20 years, the consumption of chocolate has risen to 91%. The growing consumption of chocolate has caused many companies to utilize unethical practices to meet their company's monthly production targets.
This is Cecilia. I'm going to talk about the environmental effects of cacao farming. In West Africa, cacao farming is one of the causes of vast deforestation. Cacao farming threatens national park and conservation areas, biodiversity, climate change, and food security. The largest producer of cacao lies in West Africa, particularly in the Ivory Coast. The demand from Nestle, Cadbury, and Mars cleared conservation land and national parks. Approximately 40% of Ivorian cacao comes from protected areas. Cacao traders and chocolate companies are aware of that copious amount of cacao are from the Ivory Coast. From 2001 to 2014, approximately 300,000 conservation areas were deforested in the neighboring countries of Ghana, which lost 10% of its forestry, amounting to roughly 7,000 square kilometers. About a quarter of it is because of chocolate farming. These forests have been home to wildlife population in the country, but because of its conversion to farmland, these species have struggled to survive. In the Ivory Coast, elephants are down to 200 to 400 from over 100,000. Chimpanzees are now considered an endangered species. 13 out of 23 protected areas have lost their entire primate population, and about 5 lost half. Pygmy hippos, flying squirrels, pangolins, leopards, and crocodiles are also threatened to lose their habitats. Cacao farming has exacerbated food insecurity. It contributed to the decreasing farm income and soil degradation. Over time, the cacao yielded fewer fruits to meet the demand. The farmers would plant in new fields, which means burning down more forests. This environmental degradation of chocolate farming will impact society as well.
Child labor has become a growing issue as a result of poverty and low income in tropical countries. Low-income families are often forced to send their children to work at a young age for financial stability. For that same reason, farmers are often forced to hire these children to get the job done at a low wage. These children are not only deprived of their childhood at a young age, but their mental and physical development is affected by working in unsafe conditions. This breaches basic human rights. Child labor continues to be a problem in the production of chocolate as a result of systemic racism, poverty, and power imbalances between low-income and high-income countries. It has been proven that introducing and enforcing strict policies such as public work programs, labor market-oriented programs, unconditional cash transfers, and credit and microfinance policies will reduce the income insecurity of adults and protect vulnerable households, and by doing so, These policies will help address poverty, which is the root cause of child labor.
Despite Ghana and the Ivory Coast being an essential part of production, it's estimated that nearly 75% of small farmers do not earn a livable wage and they are not able to meet their basic needs, with averaging around $1.23 to $1.42 a day. Poverty is described as a symptom of child labor due to parents having to make the difficult decision of sending their children to work in order to increase their income. Despite Ghana having progressive child labor laws, there was still little done to enforce these laws, specifically in rural areas. Little was known about the laws. Adolescents and children were using pesticides with no protective equipment, using hazardous tools that include chainsaws for clearing, being put in positions that required repeated motions that could cause ergonomical problems due to bending, heavy lifting, climbing trees. Within the recent years, Ghana has implemented laws in efforts to reduce the use of child labor. However, child labor is still being used in the production of cocoa. The farm household model is a model that looks at different factors involved in the production of cocoa with the perspective of a small-scale farm. The efforts are used to create an incentive as a form of fair trade to reduce the use of child labor instead of relying on the enforcement of laws, which have had limited results. Most farmers are living below or at the poverty line. With the farm household model simulation that was conducted, high-income countries paid a premium to these farmers as low as 2.8%. This would support the efforts in the elimination of the use of child labor. There was a focus on bringing forward the community on a local level in order to generate solutions on how to improve work conditions while increasing their productivity. This allowed them the platform to share with each other and also bring forward different ideas. One individual brought forward an equipment that they had engineered, and this program is called WIND, and it really focuses on community and building off of community. Hershey, Mars, and Nestle are just some of the major chocolate companies currently involved in a lawsuit in which it states they are complicit in child labor and trafficking for the purposes of cocoa production, despite having signed the Harkin-Engel Protocol in 2001, which aims at eliminating the worst forms of child labor. This is an important topic because we see that companies from higher income countries are exploiting children and adults for the purposes of making high profit.
The answer, my friend, is